Yo, what is up? Welcome to Bart Cart, my YouTube channel. Today's video, I want to talk about why I dropped out of school or high school. Um, it seems that as time goes on, more and more people start to drop out, and maybe I had the slightest thought of dropping out as I was growing up, going to school, but never did I think that I would actually drop out. But there were things that led up to it. So I gotta start from the beginning. I have been in 3 different schools, 2 of them being in Oklahoma, and then the third one being in Latvia, in Riga. Those are physical schools though. Then I went to an online school. So I've been in 4 different schools, the last one being an online school. Now, the online school, it was awesome. Like, literally, I could get my work done in a week out of the whole month, or even shorter if I just put my mind to it. And really, I wouldn't try to cheat that much. Like, at the time, it was before ChatGPT was popular, so I wouldn't use it at all. I was passing, I was getting good grades, it was all fine and dandy. But something happened. My mom had something happen to her, and I was here, and I think I was already, like, I had already finished the first semester. It's like, yo, good job, you finished the first semester, that's great. And I could have finished the second semester too. They were like, yo, you just need to get that work done, you just need to get that work done, and we'll pass you. But something happened. I'm trying to become a better storyteller. But basically, I was here one day, and it was all a weird coincidence, too. I'm gonna remember as much as I can, but I was talking to a girl at the time, and I invited her over, I think. Like, I don't even know. I don't know what the circumstances were totally, but it was a weird time in my life. I invited this girl over that had already been over before, I think. My mom is at home and she doesn't feel good, I guess. She says that she's going to lay down because she has a headache. And then she does, and me and the girl were just chilling, and 30 minutes go by or an hour go by. And I don't know what happened, but I was like, I want to go check on my mom. And it was in the middle of the day, like maybe around 2 in the afternoon, I think. I went in her room, and then I was like, hello, hello, and she wasn't waking up. I was like, mom, hello, hello, and then like I realized she wouldn't wake up. I'm like, bro, she's not in this deep sleep. The first thing I thought, because of my past, was that there had been something that had been taken, but of course I didn't want to go there. But that's what I had thought, and I was like, yo, what's going on? I don't get it. And I don't know, I was talking for like 2 minutes, something like that, and then I think that I called my grandma, like, to come over here, and she ended up coming over within like 5 minutes or something, but I didn't call the ambulance, I don't think, until my grandma got here, because I don't know, I was just like, I didn't know what was happening, really. I didn't know at all. I'll say my mom was having an aneurysm, and that's pretty crazy, and it was in her head. It was basically like a vein bursting and blood going, and she was slowly becoming unconscious and all that stuff. I remember the ambulance came here, they hooked things up, they checked her, and it was so confusing. Like, why check her while she's here laying in bed? Why not just take her to the hospital or like something like that? And so after a while, they did, and they put her in the cot thing and took her downstairs. And I was like, all right, well, my mom's off to the hospital. And I honestly don't remember much. Like, when that stuff happened, I was in fight or flight, and it lasted for such a long time, like, literally. And most of my life, I've been living in fight or flight because of many things that have happened. But this time, it was like, yo, your mom was completely fine yesterday. Things were normal. You've been living your life. She's been living her life. Everybody been doing their stuff. And then one day she has, like, basically gets out of consciousness. I remember asking her when she was laying down, I was like, are you okay? And she said no verbally while, like, being asleep and stuff. And so I was like, okay, yeah, we got to get an ambulance or something. And I remember whenever we first called, the people said that, oh, she's probably this, probably that. Literally, they said give her an ibuprofen. I was like, I don't think you guys understand. Like, her eyes won't open. She's barely moving. She is barely making noises. And they were like, just give her an ibuprofen, bro. She's not even conscious enough to take an ibuprofen. So we got an ambulance, and then she got taken to the hospital. And I don't even remember because during this time, I was basically trying to not remember things. I had the plant, and so I was trying to not remember things, and I was just praying like, yo, I hope things are gonna be okay. I know it's gonna work out the way that it's supposed to, but this stuff is crazy. I just pray for the best. And as my mom was in the hospital, I didn't do any of my schoolwork because basically every day I was thinking like, yo, my mom is seconds from being announced dead, basically. And I didn't know what to do with my life. Like, I don't even remember what I was doing. Maybe I was just watching TV or YouTube trying to occupy my brain and feel okay. I do know that I didn't go outside a lot at that time, and I mean, that makes sense. Why would I? I did a little bit though, and well, it was forever, like, before we found any good news. At first, they said, like, oh, she might not make it, 90% chance, her head's full of blood, like, so many things. It was like, all right, well, we're just going to keep praying, keep praying. And there were so many people praying for her that it worked. I mean, the surgery worked. The doctor said her head was just full of blood, and it looked like, maybe it's not gonna work out, but it did work out. She woke up, she thought she was in Oklahoma like she was 15 years ago. It was really weird. It took a while to get back to normal completely, but the moral of my story here is that, like, I thought my mom was going to pass away, and I thought that maybe she even was already passed away, like, emotionally for me. It lasted like 2 months. She was in the hospital for an insanely long time, like almost dying, and then get a surgery and then rehab and in the hospital for over a month. She wasn't there for Christmas. Like, she was in the hospital for Christmas, New Year's also, I think. It was crazy. But because of that, I just stopped doing my school. And then she did come back home, let's say maybe in February or March. And then school ends in May or at the end of May. I had not done any schoolwork for a couple of months. The people already knew that. And I was just like, I was already doing different things. I was still making some music here and there. It was like just at the beginning of my Bart Cart arc and starting to make music again. I think it was in 2020 or 2021, but that stuff was so crazy. It really impacted like my entire family, even some of my friends, and definitely people that knew us from the past. But I don't know. It was kind of a dumb decision to drop out because of that. Like, sure, that's the best reason to drop out, but if I wanted to, I could have finished the assignments that would make me pass. But I just didn't see the vision in my head. Like, for some reason, I knew that I was going to move back to America. I knew that I would either get accepted into the grade I want to and finish high school in America, or I was not going to finish school and I would find a way to make money. And I did. I got so blessed, and I did not plan or think of any of this, but I was there. I tried things. I went to the school. I almost gave fake grades, but I just felt too bad, so I didn't. My dad offered me a job in Texas at 18 years old, and I had dropped out of 10th grade online. We went to Texas. I got a job. I was using the plant every single day, so I had to have a yellow bottle of warm stuff that was not mine so that I could officially get the job. And I did, and I made a lot of money. I had fun. I kept up with friends and family, just living out there with my dad, and it wasn't that bad. It was pretty good until things weren't good anymore, and then life goes on, and well, here I am back in Latvia. But that is the story of why and how I dropped out of school, dropped out of high school, online school. I do not recommend it for anybody. The only reason why I am okay with it is because I knew and know that if I ever need a career that bad, money that bad, then I can basically get it. And if I need a diploma that bad, then I can go get it too. But so far, it's been like 4 years, maybe 3 years since I've dropped out, and I haven't needed a diploma. So, but maybe you will someday. I don't know. Like, subscribe, and comment if you thought any of this was cool, informational, funny, or good. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bart Card out.